It was supposed to be a fairy tale romance for the ages. Kourtney Kardashian, the eldest Kardashian sister, and Travis Barker, the legendary Blink-182 drummer, had finally found love and happiness together. Their whirlwind relationship captivated fans around the world as they showered each other with affection and planned their dream wedding. However, the couple's blissful world came crashing down when a dark secret was unearthed. Travis Barker had allegedly stolen a staggering $1 million from their joint bank account without Kourtney's knowledge or consent. This shocking betrayal led to Barker's arrest and a highly publicized legal battle that has left both parties reeling. By all accounts, Kourtney and Travis were the picture of domestic bliss. After years of failed relationships, the two lovebirds seemed to have finally found their happily ever after. They were inseparable, posting loving tributes to each other on social media and even taking the major step of combining their finances. It was while reviewing their joint bank statements that Kourtney made this startling discovery. Hundreds of thousands of dollars had been systematically drained from their shared account over the course of several months. Kourtney was devastated. How could the man she trusted most have betrayed her in such a calculated and cruel way? Confronting Travis, Kourtney demanded an explanation. At first, he denied any wrongdoing, but as the evidence mounted, he was eventually forced to confess. He claimed that he had been under immense financial pressure and had resorted to tapping into their joint funds without Kourtney's consent. "I was in over my head with debt and couldn't see another way out," Travis reportedly told Kourtney through tears. "I never meant to hurt you. I was just desperate. But that doesn't make it right, and I'm so sorry." Kourtney was understandably distraught. Her trust had been shattered, and she struggled to reconcile the man she loved with this betrayal. After much anguish and soul-searching, she made the difficult decision to report Travis to the authorities. News of the theft and Kourtney's decision to press charges quickly made headlines, sparking a media frenzy. The public was divided, with some fans defending Travis and others firmly siding with Kourtney. The Kardashian clan, known for their unwavering family loyalty, rallied around Kourtney, vowing to support her through this ordeal. When the case went to trial, the details that emerged were both shocking and heartbreaking. Prosecutors alleged that Travis had been systematically draining their joint account for months, transferring large sums of money into his personal accounts and using the funds for his own personal expenses. The defense, led by Travis's high-powered legal team, argued that the money was simply being used to cover joint expenses and that there was no malicious intent. However, the prosecution presented damning evidence, including bank records and testimony from financial experts, that painted a very different picture. Kourtney took the stand, her usually composed demeanor shattered as she recounted the betrayal she had experienced. She spoke of the devastating emotional toll, the feeling of being violated, and the loss of trust that had shaken the very foundation of their relationship. "I thought we were building a life together, a future," Kourtney tearfully told the court. "But all this time, he was taking from me, taking from us, without a second thought. How can I ever trust him again?" The trial was a media spectacle, with the public captivated by the downfall of this once-adored couple. As the proceedings unfolded, more details emerged that painted Travis Barker in an increasingly unflattering light. Witnesses testified that Barker had been living a lavish lifestyle, splurging on luxury cars, expensive vacations, and high-end designer goods, all funded by the stolen money from Kourtney's account. The prosecution argued that this was clear evidence of premeditation and a calculated scheme to enrich himself at Kourtney's expense. As the trial reached its climax, Travis Barker's legal team made a last-ditch effort to sway the jury. They argued that Barker had been under immense financial pressure due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which had severely impacted the music industry and his own personal income. "Travis Barker is not a criminal mastermind," his attorney pleaded. He's a man who made a terrible mistake, driven by desperation and fear for his financial future. He never intended to hurt Kourtney, and he's deeply remorseful for the pain he's caused. The defense painted a picture of a man who had simply made a lapse in judgment, someone who had gotten in over his head and resorted to desperate measures to keep his head above water. They argued that Barker should be shown leniency, that he deserved a second chance to make amends and rebuild the trust he had shattered. But Kourtney's legal team was having none of it. They methodically dismantled the defense's narrative, pointing to the extensive evidence of Barker's lavish spending and the calculated nature of the thefts. They argued that this was not a momentary lapse in judgment, but a calculated, long-term scheme to enrich himself at Kourtney's expense. This was not a crime of passion or desperation, the prosecutor declared. This was a calculated, malicious act of betrayal. Mr. Barker knew exactly what he was doing, and he did it with complete disregard for the woman he claimed to love. As the trial reached its climax, the jury deliberated for several agonizing days. The tension in the courtroom was palpable, with both Kourtney and Travis visibly anxious, their futures hanging in the balance. Finally, the verdict was delivered. Travis Barker was found guilty on all charges, including theft, fraud, and breach of trust. The judge sentenced him to 3 years in prison, a hefty fine, and ordered him to repay the full $1 million he had stolen from Kourtney's account. Kourtney, who had sat stoically throughout the trial, finally allowed herself to break down in tears. While the verdict brought her a sense of justice, the emotional toll of the ordeal was evident. The woman who had once exuded confidence and poise now looked shattered, her trust in love and relationships forever changed. In the aftermath of the trial, the public was left reeling. Fans of both Kourtney and Travis were devastated, struggling to reconcile the image of the loving couple they had once idolized with the sordid details that had emerged. The Kardashian family, ever the media darlings, found themselves at the center of a scandal that threatened to overshadow their carefully curated public personas. For Kourtney, the road to recovery has been a long and arduous one. She has sought extensive therapy and support from her family, slowly rebuilding the shattered pieces of her life. Though she has vowed to move on, the shadow of the betrayal still looms large, a constant reminder of the pain she endured. As for Travis Barker, his future remains uncertain. Behind bars, he has had ample time to reflect on the choices that led him to this point, and many wonder if he will ever be able to rebuild his career and public image once he is released. The Kardashian-Barker saga has captivated the public, a cautionary tale of love, trust, and the devastating consequences of greed and betrayal. It serves as a stark reminder that even the most seemingly perfect relationships can crumble under the weight of deception and broken promises.